Recording progress.
So everyone come to a tall, supportive feeling seat. Whatever that looks like is fine. If you can stand, you can sit on the floor, you can sit in a chair. If you're in a chair, I recommend feet more flat on the ground, not crossing at the ankles or at the knees, and kind of trying to make pressure, even though if you're a shorty like me, you still might be dangling like me. It's okay. Yeah. See if you can align your feet with your knees, knees with your hips, shoulders on top of your hips, head stacked on top of your spine. Kind of push your chin down and back into an invisible wall behind you just to make yourself that extra little millimeter longer. Gaze goes forward. Let your gaze go slightly down. Imagine there's a spot up there that you can stare at, preferably something that's not moving. Lock your attention on that spot and relax the muscles around your eyes and your jaw. You can swallow, part your lips and your teeth slightly. Keep your elbows bent, arms resting, maybe on the arms of your chair or on your thighs, or one on the belly, one on the chest, anything that feels comfortable to you. And mentally separate yourself from what you were doing. Come fully now into what you are doing. Good. Start to ground and center yourself by noticing first everything that you see, whether your eyes are open or shut. Notice the shapes and the colors. Notice the lights and the shadows. Notice where the doors and windows are in relation to your body. Notice where the other people and objects are in relation to your body. Notice the noises in the space besides my voice. Notice the weight of your body in your seat. See if you can get a little heavier in those places. My teacher says take a seat in yourself, sit back in yourself. And then notice your breath without changing it. Observe the breath coming in and out of your body. Notice where you feel your breath the most today. It might be kind of low in the belly or high in the chest. Maybe it's in one nostril and not the other, or feel it in your sides or your back. And then with a little intention, start to lengthen the breath, breathing in deeper, lower than normal, and exhaling like you're constricting the throat. So either through the nose or through the mouth, like you're blowing through a straw. Let the air escape a little slower. And notice how it feels to create that little shift in your breath. It might feel awkward or even uncomfortable. Just be aware of whatever sensations arise for you. But imagine as you breathe in, like you're filling up a glass of water. Breathe in from the bottom of your torso all the way to the top. And then as you exhale, empty top to bottom. Yeah. Do a few more rounds like that. If you feel like you need to wake up today, focus more on the inhales, making the inhales as big as you can make them, as full as you can make them, maybe even holding your breath at the top and then exhaling. If you're feeling stressed or anxious today and you need to calm down, then focus more on the exhale, making the exhale longer and longer, and maybe even having that pause at the bottom. One more. And then return to your natural passive breath and observe anything that's left over. If you ever get a little lightheaded too from your pranayama, from your breath control techniques, you can always tuck your chin down towards your chest, give your neck a little squeeze. It'll help bring everything back to neutral faster. Good. So inhale and open your eyes if you haven't already. And then scoot forward towards the edge of your seat if you're going to keep moving with me because you'll want more room behind you. Hands on your thighs. Inhale, get super tall through the crown of your head and stay. So we're going from axial extension, just as much length as possible between your tail and your crown. So as you're looking forward, soft face, heavy shoulders, reach through the crown of your head, pull your shoulders down and back slightly. Pull your belly in and up slightly and very gently tuck your tail like you're reaching your tail down towards the floor and see where you notice that. And then release the tuck and let your tail poke out behind you a little more and restore that natural curve, but keep the feeling of length and reaching in both directions. Good. Let your hands dangle down by your sides out of your shoulder sockets. You can give your fingers a little wiggle if you want to. You can roll your hands a few times, one direction and then the other. And then let them stay. Next time you breathe in, reach your arms around and up. You can look up at the top if you wish. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the bottom. Good. Keep going like that. Dynamic breathing, inhaling to raise the arms, exhaling to lower. And this could be elbows bent, wrists bent, everything super fluid and soft and slow. Or this could be reaching through the elbows, gluing the fingertips together, really creating a maximum stretch at every moment of your circle. You choose the intensity. Keep moving and try to match up your movement with your breath. So don't get to the top until your lungs are super full. And don't get to the bottom until your lungs are super empty. One more like that. Take your time. Next time your arms are down, keep them down. And inhale, lift only your left arm. And again, stay, push down into your feet in your seat, lift in and up on the belly, reach the left shoulder up and away from the left hip to make as much length in the side body as you can. And then to any degree, lean over to the right. So reach the right fingertips down, reach the left fingertips up and over, up and over, up and over. See if instead of just leaning over as far as you can in one straight line from the hip to the fingertips, that you instead create a C curve-like feeling or shape in the side of the body. Yeah. Open your heart more towards the front, even if that means you lean over less. Soft face, you can look down, you can look forward. Last breath here. Inhale yourself all the way up to the center. Exhale, lower your arm all the way back down. Take a breath in neutral. Fill yourself up with air. Notice what's left over. If you get that whooshing feeling, the blood rushy feeling, that's normal. And then we'll do that on the other side. So inhale the right arm around and up. Glue yourself down on the hips. Inhale lightness from the waist up. Reach the shoulder up and away from the hip, especially before you exhale and lean over towards the left. Imagine you're pushing your right hip down more, opening your heart more towards the front, creating more of a curve in the sides of the body. Like when you breathe in, you're trying to force the ribs to expand out away from each other just a little bit more, literally creating space, creating more flexibility and room for the breath when you're not doing these weird movements, when you're just sitting there to make that more comfortable. One more breath here. And then push into your feet. Inhale, come up all the way. And exhale, lower your arm down. Take a breath in the middle. Notice what's left over. Tuck your chin if you need to. Just come back to neutral. Good. Inhale your arms out to a big T shape. And then exhale, twist to the left. So just using the organs of the belly. Reach the hands. Instead of trying to use the arm to pull you back further, see if you can keep your arms coming straight out from the center of your chest. And you can look at me if you want. So it's not here where the arm is reaching back behind me. It's here and twisting with the belly. Make sense? Good. Last in breath here. Get as tall as you can. Exhale, squeeze the belly like you're wringing out a washcloth. Get another drip of water. Good. Inhale back to the center. Really, really big. Fill your lungs up. And exhale to the other side. Remember, arms aren't twisting you. The belly is twisting you. Good. And you can always just take your arms out of the equation and let them come down and rest. Inhale for length and exhale to twist. Another big round here. And inhale yourself back to the center. Look straight ahead, soft face. Exhale, lower your arms down. Put your hands on your legs or your knees. Take a big breath in neutral. Notice what's left over. Good. And now separate your feet and your legs a little bit so they're not right next to each other, maybe hip distance apart. Hands on your knees. We'll do cat and cow now. So inhale, cow pose, belly forward, chest forward. Maybe your gaze goes forward or even up. Exhale, round your spine, really round between the shoulders. Head gets heavy at the end. Back and forth. Inhale, cow pose, belly forward, chest forward, eyes forward. Exhale, cat pose, round like a black cat on Halloween, that huge round C shape or upside down U shape. Yeah. 3 more like that, following your own breath. You can stay anywhere for longer. You can change it any way I didn't mention to make it work better for you. And then meet me back in neutral when you're ready. Maybe a couple really big shoulder rolls. You can let your arms help by dangling them out of your shoulder blades. So the weight of your arms assists a little bit. And then come back to neutral in the center. Good. Okay, so we're going to experiment a little bit with, as if you're standing at your desk, some different things that you can do using the desk to help you. Okay, so a lot of the positions you see like on Instagram or whatever, just because I'm doing something this way doesn't mean this is the only way to do it, right? So I want to show you options for how you could use your desk and your chair when you have like 5 minutes of free time in your office to get into your body a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to turn my chair this way just so you can see. So foot can be on the floor. This is version number 1. Okay, to raise your foot up higher to make things maybe interesting in a different way, you could bring your foot up onto your chair, right? Or if you're flexy, or if you just want to see what it feels like, third option would be foot up on your desk, right? But it's the same shape. This is still a lunge, okay? So this is especially helpful if you have bad knees, like we were talking about, because one option is knee on the floor back here with the right foot forward. But obviously, if you have testy knees, you are not going to do this. But otherwise, how are you going to get deeper into your lunge forward and back, right? So instead, you can have left foot on the ground, step your right foot onto your seat. See how that feels. And then either with your hands on your hips, you can have a hand on the wall. You can, if you're on your desk, you can lean forward and grab the desk. Gently shift your weight forward with control. So when I say shift your weight forward, I don't mean quickly dump into your maximum range of motion, right? Even if you're flexible, I want you to push into both of your feet, squeeze the butt and the hip on the side of the leg that is lifted forward so that you are creating control and stability in the hip joint, okay? You might feel this more in that hip. You might feel it more in the front of the back hip, the back leg. You might feel it somewhere else, maybe in the back too. Okay, keep your foot where it is, come back to neutral, so shift your weight back fully onto your standing leg, and then lift the toes of your right foot on your chair or the desk. So you're just pushing the heel down into that surface. And then to any extent, start to straighten that leg. It doesn't have to get perfectly straight, but it might. Even if it gets almost straight, micro bend in the knee. So we're not hyperextending or loosening all of the tension. You're lifting the kneecap up towards your hip. Good. If you don't feel enough, or if you just want to see what happens, you can take your hands on top of your leg and a little bit at a time start to slide the hands more forward so that you're bringing the torso closer to the leg. And if that gets too intense, all you do is back out again, or you bend the knee more. There's lots of options. Make it work for you. I tend to encourage a long spine here. So see what happens if you pull the belly in and up to support the low back. Worry less about like reaching and rounding and pulling, and focus more on creating less of an angle between the torso and the leg. Good. Now let's flow a little bit forward and back. So next time you inhale, bend the knee again, put the foot flat on that surface, and lean your body weight more forward. Exhale, shift your hips back, straighten the leg a little more, maybe pop your toes up. Good, back and forth. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, shift your weight back, leg becomes more straight. This is splits prep, okay? So next time when everyone come and do a full split, yeah, right? So inhale, shift your weight forward. Maybe this time you bring your arms forward or even up. See how that changes things. And then exhale, shift your weight back, hands come back, palms face down. Good. 2 more times your favorite way. When you're done with that, come back to the center. Hold on to the chair or the desk or the wall or whatever, and carefully bring your foot back down next to the other one. And notice any difference between the two sides. Good. Let's do this on the other leg now. So whatever level you chose on the other side, choose that for this leg as well, just so you can compare the two, but you can always adjust. So left foot is forward, right foot is right underneath your hips on the ground. Keep pushing down into the right foot. Good. Hands on the wall or your hips or your chair or whatever, and gently bring your weight more forward. Remember, you're not 100% range of motion. You're pushing into both feet, belly in and up, soft face. Take another breath here. And then inhale, shift your hips back. Exhale, lean your hips way back. Push into the heel of the forward foot more and lift your toes back towards your shin. Knee straight or bent, somewhere in between. Notice what it's like to stay here for a couple rounds. And then we'll start going back and forth. So inhale, shift your weight more forward, foot is flat on that surface. And then exhale, shifting your weight back, straightening the front leg maybe a little bit or a lot of it. Maybe you even lean forward. Back and forth at your own pace. Maybe you start to incorporate your arms too. Maybe not. They're both good yoga. Meet me back in neutral. Grab onto something for support and carefully bring your left foot back down to the ground. And notice what is left over between the two sides. They might feel really different. They might feel more the same now. Just observe. Good. Okay, we're going to do the same sort of thing, but for more of an outer hip and buttock and low back stretch instead of the forward and back motion. This involves the external rotation. So I think I've showed you before pigeon pose or figure four or something like that, where we have the knee bent. But what if you want to do something like this and you don't have a chair or don't want to sit anymore, like you're anxious and want to get out of your chair? So another way to do it is to use a chair or a desk. So I'll show you the desk version of this just because I just used the chair. So you'll take your foot up onto the desk, flex the ankle to protect the ankle and the knee, and then to any extent, open the knee out to the side. That could be a little and it could be a lot, but the ankle stays flexed the whole time. The more upright you are, the less weight you are putting into the leg, so the more control you have. If you're flexy and your shin is totally on the desk and you're standing there and you're just like, whatever, this is kind of boring, that's fine. Or you could start to lean your body weight more forward to create more sensation on the outside of the hip or into the lower back. And it's the same on a chair. So if you want to use a chair, place the right foot onto the chair, flex the ankle, start to open the knee out to the side, and then a little or a lot, start to put more weight, maybe even hanging onto the chair and sinking more, I guess would be a way to say it, but make sure you're pushing into the foot like you're trying to push yourself off of the surface that you're on, not just sinking into it. That'll protect the SI joint especially. One more breath wherever you landed. And then on an inhale, everything's strong and supported, come back up, maybe with or without your hands, you bring that foot back down next to the other one. And again, notice what is left over between the two sides. Try the other leg. So on your chair or on your desk, left foot comes to the surface, flex your ankle, and then start to externally rotate the knee. Start to flex the knee out away from the center of your body. Good. And if you're like me, you might be like, whoa, that's a lot. And then slowly I might like kind of bunny hop forward a little bit. I use my hands a lot for this. Like I like a lot of support here, especially if you have SI issues. You think it feels good to stretch, but a lot of times, and I hear this directly from physical therapists, that overstretching creates more of a problem. So if you're like, ooh, it feels really good and I have a lot of hip problems, really push the desk or the chair away from you. Okay, so there's a difference between just dumping into it and pushing away, engaging the hip and the buttock. Good options, everybody. And you don't have to be still. You can rock side to side or forward and back. Find something that's not torture, but it's not nothing. It's somewhere in between. One more breath on this side. Good. And then carefully bring yourself back up to a tall spine if you were leaning over, maybe with or without your hands or grabbing onto your pants or whatever. Put your foot back down on the ground. Stand in neutral. Notice what's left over. Good. Okay, that was a lot of asymmetrical poses where we're doing something different on each side of the body. So if you're doing this at your desk, remember you always want to close with something symmetrical, something that's the same on both sides of your body. So let's do a downward dog. So you may have seen downward dog before in pictures or magazines or whatever, where the hands and the feet are on the floor and then the weight goes back and the hips go up. That's super hard. It's hard. And it involves a lot of weight bearing in the front part of the body, like in the hands. And especially like if you have carpal tunnel syndrome or you have like inflammation in your hands and we're all typing nonstop, right? So that's not doable for a lot of reasons. But the point of a down dog isn't necessarily to make your hands really strong. It's to extend the spine, to get stretch in the spine and in the back of the body. And you can do that at your desk. So instead of getting on the floor on your hands and knees, come up to your desk and put your hands on your desk. Good. Keep your arms relatively straight. Push into all of the knuckles of your hands and start to inch your feet back so that your hips are coming further and further away from the desk. You'll get to a point where your chest and your head start to come down lower because you're gluing your hands in place. You can keep your knees super bent. Instead of looking forward at your desk, look in a neutral way, so probably down towards the desk or the floor. Push your chin down and back into that invisible wall behind you. Pull your belly in and up. Send your tail further, further, further back. Knees bent or straight. And then keep adjusting until you feel like you can stay somewhere and you're getting something interesting out of it. So eventually the legs get straighter, the head comes in neutral down between the biceps, and you're looking kind of at the floor. You can bend one knee at a time, see how that changes things. Oh boy. Difference between heaven and hell is half an inch, right? So tread carefully. Hamstrings can be really, really tender, especially if you sit a lot. So be kind. Notice what you're telling yourself about your body and how it's performing. And instead, come back to a dialogue where you're just noticing instead of judging. Two more rounds of breath. As long as you can from the tail to the crown, even past the crown, tail to fingertips to desk. Good. To come out, inhale and look forward and start to inch your feet more forward until you're standing again. Maybe you roll your shoulders at the top. If you got lightheaded, tuck your chin, give it a little squeeze, let your arms come down in neutral by your sides again. Take a big breath, notice what's left over. Good. Come back to your seat. And now that you've done all that, do nothing and notice what it feels like to sit in a chair again. Notice if it's a little different than what it normally feels like or what it did 30 minutes ago. And put yourself into anatomical neutral again as close as you can. So feet under the knees, knees in line with your hips, shoulders on your hips, head on your spine, invisible wall behind you, right? Press your head just a little bit more back so you get even longer and let your arms rest. Gaze forward, soften your eyebrows and your jaw again. And for time, we won't do a full body scan, but take 10, 15 seconds to just mentally scan from the tips of your toes through the crown of your head and down both of your arms. Notice what you notice. Good. And I'll invite you to bring your hands together, either in a prayer-like position with your thumbs touching your chest, or you can stack your hands. and look down or bow down towards your hands. And this motion is in gratitude of yourself. So as best you can, give yourself a sincere thank you just for showing up and trying things. That's the hardest part. And remember, you have a body, but you're not just your body. You have a mind, but you're not just your thoughts. And you have emotions, but you're not just your feelings. As you're ready, your hands can come down. Let your eyes flutter open and up. Class is over. Thank you so much for coming. Try some of this stuff another day before yoga and just see how it feels. Make your office your playground. It's your desk. You can do what you want. Thanks, everyone.